Who knew that talking clones could include the FBI, government fraud, and just almost losing my channel? Yeah, we need to talk about it. What's going on, guys? My name is Neeb, and this is my lawyer, Erdis.
Hi, everyone.
Welcome back to AROMATIX. Today we're going to be talking about a crazy-ass story that's happened to me within the last, 3-4 months or so?
I think it started like mid-June.
Yeah, around mid-June. But before we get into all of that shit, what's your most complimented last summer?
The Venus Asylum, Pacific Chill.
Yeah, you're lying.
No, it really is.
You're lying.
No,
The Venus Asylum?
No, I swear. I mean, maybe it's because I have last year's badge, but I swear to God, that thing's a compliment monster. I haven't even
Awesome.
wore Elysium because of it. I'm just like, I don't need to.
That's dope.
Yeah, Pacific Chill.
Oh, but Elysium is still a must-have. I have it too. I just don't find myself reaching much for it, although it smells beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, especially for like a hot summer day, I can imagine it would be great, but the Venus Asylum does it anyway.
Cool.
Pacific Chill, also a compliment. Polar. Baby Cat. Which is
yeah. Dude, it's summer.
Summer evenings, man. And like,
worked.
you'll wake up with it the next day on.
That's awesome.
And surprisingly, Decas. By
Xerjoff.
Yeah.
Okay, Xerjoff Decas. Awesome. That's an ambery, kind of an orangey undertone style amber fragrance. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Yeah, for me, it was Oud.
It was Oud straight Oud.
Ombre de Bond is like my most complimented during the summertime. Yeah. But anyways, here we're going to be talking about today is basically my story and what happened and what clones basically got me into. Buckle in, it's going to be a pretty crazy story, at least in my opinion, and we're just going to tell it like it is. And for the sake of like not throwing anyone under the bus, I'm just going to reference to the social media platforms as A, B, and C. I mean, and just let the rest be the rest. I don't want to point fingers, and I think that it's a bigger issue that we'll come to in the conclusion at the end of the video. So, starting things off with how I started my channel and where I started, and kind of that is the issue basically. So starting off with the whole clones thing, and not even clones, just talking about also Middle Eastern fragrances. I was talking about niche designers, all that stuff. What really made me popular was a lot of the Middle Eastern fragrances in general. Clones, not clones, etc. A whole different world of scent profiles that many people didn't even know how to pronounce. And so my rise was pretty big. And I was growing on YouTube. I took it onto the TikTok realm and the Instagram realm. And this is where my problems started happening. One morning, I woke up to an email from YouTube, which, by the way, is probably one of the best platforms that you can post content onto. So shout outs to you, YouTube. You guys are like, in terms of copyrights and legitimacy, they actually look at their stuff. They copyright struck me for an MFK fragrance, for specifically a copycat bottle, if you will. Now, mind you guys, I don't create these fragrances. I'm not the owner. I mean, I'm just a content creator talking about the fragrance. And so the legality inside of things, it shouldn't mean that I take fault of that, whatever legal aspect there is. However, our YouTube decided to take it down and tell me that we understand you might not have known, and so we just took it down to basically appeal to MFK. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. From a legal standpoint, would I be liable for this product and not creating just for talking about it?
In the sense of, would you be, if you didn't create it, but you're promoting it?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they could still come after you, because in a way they can go, they can argue that you're costing them sales and you're promoting, counterfeit products to their benefit, to your benefit, and to the detriment of their business. So they could. It's a little bit tougher. A lot of people think like, oh, freedom of speech, I have a right to it, I have a right to it. Specifically, the Constitution says the government can't abridge your freedom of speech. So, but everybody else can just fine, including like these social media platforms, because they're not the government. So a lot of times these social media platforms, rather than kind of get into it with these big brands, succumb to it. They'll just say like, okay, we'll just take the video down. A lot of times also they have relationships with these big brands, because that's what pumps money into their platform. So even without the threat of litigation, they'll just do it because they want to maintain a good business relationship with them. So they can come after you in so many ways that the last possible way they can do it is actually the legal way, because that's the strictest one for them.
And that makes a lot of sense. I mean, you guys think about, how much money they're probably spending in ad revenues for promotions, all these brands. It's not just MFK or LVMH. And YouTube is not going to lose that over one creator. Well, let me not throw anyone under the bus, because I do think that YouTube is a great platform to be on. But obviously, it makes a lot of sense, right? So it becomes a game of like whose pockets are deeper, or it's like, this is our platform. These are our platform rules, which they're within their rights. So we can tell you what's allowed in our house and what's not. And that, in a sense, they were forgiving, rather than my next experience, which is with another platform that I posted short content on, that one morning I woke up and it was just completely gone. So this is kind of, it started as a trend, and the trend was all just within 3 to 4 months. It was absolutely insane. One morning I woke up and logged into my social media platform, which I post a lot of these short contents, and it was gone. And not only that, but I had saved over a year's worth of commissions. It was around, I think it was like $8,000 or something like that in that social media platform, and it was gone as well, with no way to legally claim it, and it was just profile gone, money gone. I didn't even know that that would have even been legal, and I don't know if it is. Anyways, so upon research, upon trying and appealing, I was given no explanation. I was given no, it was just done. It was just done. I appealed it, they never responded, and yeah, right. I couldn't believe they kept my money.
So the thing about appeal is that the same people that struck you with, the social media platform, they're the same ones that you have to file an appeal of. So you're asking them to like, hey, reconsider your decision. That's not a hill you want to climb. So, it's tough. It's not something that you can take, for example, to court, because it's not necessarily worth it. It would cost you so much money. And
we thought about that too.
We did, but I mean, we contemplated it. It just wasn't worth the litigation costs. It would be in the tens of thousands of dollars, and it just wasn't worth it. So you have to then just go back to them and appeal it, which is really just like, please forgive me, or hey, this is how I didn't do something wrong, and you're the one that got it wrong in the first place by striking it.
Exactly.
Yeah, good luck with that one.
Yeah, like somebody punching you in the face and you going back to them and tell them, please don't punch me in the face. Right. Well, I already punched you. I'm gonna punch you again probably. So, anyways, so yeah, that's basically what happened with that platform. I started all over again. I was actually, I mean, at this point, you could see it in my content. My content was messed up. You and I were spending hours a day talking about what could have went wrong. What am I doing wrong? We were coming up with theory after theory, test after test, getting struck no matter what. There was no rhyme or reason. I was talking within my reason, and it seemed almost like they targeted anything where I said anything negative at all. It was almost like, not even negative. If I just compared a fragrance with another one, gone, done, struck.
So yeah, that was the hard part in the beginning. What did you do wrong? This isn't, copyright infringement isn't within my specialty, but I know how lawyers think and how laws, are structured. So I was like, I don't see what you're doing wrong here. I guess, maybe you could like soften the language a little bit. But initially, we came up with like this super broad plan to like, that essentially like censored you.
It did.
Because we needed to like test out the waters. Like, all right, what's okay, what's not okay. And mind you, we're not thinking about laws here, because if these were laws, I never thought you were doing anything illegal.
Well, I wasn't illegally.
It's just that these companies have policies that are much stricter than the laws. And, for whatever reason or another, they sometimes they enforce them in similar ways, like YouTube does. And sometimes other ones, they enforce them, if at all, very, very differently. So, yeah, initially it was kind of tough, because I essentially had to tell you to hey, you got to muzzle yourself.
Censor, don't talk about, designers. There was a point where I wasn't talking about designers. I wasn't talking about niche. And this was the same point that other brands were going to other YouTubers and hitting them. But I seem to have been one of the biggest targets. And one of the best and most sincere advices that you gave me as a friend, aside from a lawyer, was don't go public. Because in legal, can you explain why that's one of the worst decisions, is to go public? Is it? What do you think, actually, about going public and my decision not to go fully public? Because there were times where people were asking and calling me out.
Sure.
And I couldn't expect them. I wished that some of the comments were a bit more patient, but I couldn't expect them to understand. And really, as humans, we don't understand until we step in the same shoes. Me, even being in the health profession, I watch a lot of people, alive, but I never truly understood. I do have a deeper understanding, because day in and day out, but you never really feel what someone's feeling unless you're actually in it.
Sure.
So what are your thoughts and in general in regards to that?
It's like you watch those cop shows where they say anything you say can and will be held against you. So that's the tough thing about going public. At the time, we weren't sure if we were doing anything illegal. in how we were talking about these clones. So we didn't want to go out there and be public, and then it turns out we did something wrong. Like even when we were younger, like in high school, we weren't the kind of kids to do illegal shit, let alone now.
Right.
So that was part of it. The other part of it was kind of like just us
I mean, I don't
thinking
know. I got expelled. I got expelled from high school. Yeah, I was in gay. No, but anyways.
Yeah, I think the other part of it was also like strategy. Like you don't want to go public because it signals what your strategy is and how you're going to move through it. So they like prepare against it. But the biggest, really the biggest thing was we were just trying not to like walk into a landmine we didn't know was there because, like I said, I don't specialize in this. We didn't. It wasn't even the law that was the issue. It was like navigating through these social media platforms' policies.
And even then, we'll get even deeper into where there were no policies because it gets even muddier than that. But in the process of all of this, where it just started with the LVMH thing, was, man, the it genuinely, it was like, I was already felt like I was like suffocated. I couldn't say much, but then to see my own people literally just come at me like, you changed, you got this, bro, it was crazy.
Yeah.
It brought me anxiety. It affected my content as if it wasn't already as is. And mind you, in the meantime, you know, I know that you mentioned a few times that you're not an IP lawyer or a copyright, but we were starting to, some of your colleagues are in IP, starting to reference them, going towards them, researching, etc. So you would still know way more than the average person in that regard.
Right.
You still have general law. You still know, you know, Yeah.
So it was kind of a two-pronged thing. Like two things were happening at the same time. So first, we got to figure out like what's the issue here and how can we navigate through it in the best way possible.
Yeah.
To do that, you know, we kind of had to test things out. We had to test things, and then that caused some of the content to, you know, suffer in quality, I think.
It was definitely suffering in quality.
You know,
Clone Wars was gone to this day. There's so many details, and we'll get to that in the end, of adjustments that we had to, I would have never imagined.
So, but that in itself, I always tell this to like my staff, for example, that, you know, our clients are regular everyday people. And if they get involved in litigation, probably like a landmark moment in their lives. So, you know, try to be kind to them because it's very stressful. So you're going through this and we're trying to like navigate it, trying to figure it out. The content suffers. And then unfortunately, some of the fans kind of, I mean, great for them to notice, I suppose, but not nice of them to just kind of get in there and start attacking. Like criticism is fine, but sometimes it was a little bit.
But you know, there's a lot of other people in the space that promote bully culture. And I personally feel like it's human nature. It's easy to hate. I don't know why, but it is what it is. I've been through a lot. And this is being, by the way, this was actually significant for me to have gone through because it gets even muddier. And let's get even deeper than what has and did happen. Shortly after the takedown by the Chinese company came a spawn of emails from another company that's US based and has a couple of social media platforms under one umbrella. And I remember one morning waking up to about a spam, like it was like literally spam mail, 6-7 copyright strikes on videos where there were absolutely no reasons. I mean, at one point, bro, I was glazing. Like, it was like, Manceras, these are the best 5 Manceras you can get, taken down. Dubai fragrances, taken down.
Right.
I mean, there was absolutely no reason. Aventus Absolute, I actually like this fragrance, taken down. No copyright, no infringements, nothing. And so this led to severe ass anxiety. Go ahead.
Right. So here's the thing about it. Like at this point, we kind of like I told him like you gotta like.
I was like soldiered out at this point. I was like this.
Yeah.
Tell me where to go.
I remember once there was a comment in the chat where somebody said blink twice if they have you at gunpoint, and that guy is like,
yeah, he hit it right on the head.
He hit it like right on the head.
Yeah, definitely felt like that.
He's like really muzzled. I'm not even watching his videos anymore. I'm just like scrolling through the comments, seeing how it's gonna like affect
I stayed out of the comments, man. It's already poisonous fast as it is before all of that.
I'm advising him like, hey, you shouldn't. Stay away from clones. Stay away from like cheapies. Just focus on. Stay away from certain designers.
Stay away from saying clones. Review clones as an actual review, like breaking down the scent. So I started talking about clones in the sense of what they actually smell like.
Right.
Being a little quirky, trying to find ways to remind you of this fragrance, reminds you of that.
Right.
Even then, like, can you imagine not being able to say, oh, it reminds me of? Dude, that's crazy.
Right. And like for 2 weeks, everything was cool, you know? And then all of a sudden, one day, it was
oh my God, the 7 emails. I kind of want to share some of them on screen if my editors can find a way to muzzle the company that it came from or whatever, but it was just no reason. There was no references to other companies, nothing at all. And so
at this point, that's when I was like, all right, listen, it's not about...
No. This is fraud. This is something crazy.
Like, this is something. I'm like, this is something.
Someone's
else.
targeting you at this point.
That's what I said. Like, yeah, someone is like targeting you because it's not about are you crossing the line or not. It's just that you're posting content.
Exactly. And somebody with power, with money, which ultimately you guys in this world, that's what it comes down to. Whose pockets are deeper and what they want you to buy is what you'll buy and what you see is what you're going to buy and they control what you see. And that's how it works. It's unfortunate. And anybody who goes against the grain, including the clones and even this video, risk is exactly that. But the main focus for me always was legality. And so I'll continue going against as long as it's legality. But then there was another obstacle where it was like, oh shit, is this the end? And that came to the invitation of costs in lawyers, and specifically lawyer fees with IPs, copyright lawyers, and now what I could be facing in terms of actually taking this to courts. And we'll get into those costs, etc. As soon as we mention something that was actually pretty telltale sign that this was all a target. In those appeal letters that you get in emails, etc., it generally tells you who it is. By law, if I'm not mistaken, it requires you to tell you who you appeal to, right?
DMCA takedown,
Yes. So there are only certain entities that can file DMCA takedowns. Okay. So tell us what the DMCA is.
So the DMCA is the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, passed in the late 20th century, I believe. And it really just gives creators, whoever it may be, like a lot of control over the content that they create in one way or another. It is administered by the IP office of the United States, but itself, the DMCA is just a law. It's not like an entity. It's not an agency. It's just a law that says, you know, people can't do this and the copyright holders have these rights.
Okay. So basically it allows somebody who has copyrights to be able to legally take down any other copyright infringing materials.
And it makes sense. You know, you want to encourage people to innovate, to like push the boundaries of things. And if somebody can, you know, innovation is the hard part, to like, you know, who first created fire. That's like the hard part. After that, if anybody can just copy it, you know.
And that's all fun and games until there is abuse. And when there's abuse of this law, it's now breaking the law. And when there's impersonation on top of that, you're breaking the law and impersonating you know, federal agency, right?
But before we get that, I just want to touch on, like, you know, we woke up to these like emails that took down so much of your content, and it was all like positive content. I couldn't, for the life of me, I couldn't figure out what it was.
It was reviews, no comparisons even.
Right. Now, I have a day job, you know, like, and it's long hours as is. So we're sitting there thinking, like, how much is this going to cost you? And I'm like, dude, like, I don't know what the end game here is going to be, but if it's, you know, the worst case scenario, it could cost you in like kind of in the hundreds of thousands, because IP attorneys are typically, they have a Juris Doctorate degree, so they're lawyers and they're engineers. So, you know, they charge more than most attorneys, really. So I'm like, you know, and you got to pay them hourly.
If it goes federal, then we would be in the hundreds of thousands.
If it goes all the way, this could be like in the hundreds of thousands. So
Cost.
So I'm like, try to like save some money up front by doing some of your own investigative work. I'm like, I'll help you as much as I can, and I got a day job. And then you became
a fucking detective, bro.
He did.
I swear to God, man.
He did. He's like sending me all kinds of like pics and like this, you know, like, hey, how about this? Hey, this is what I found.
So this entity masks themselves as DMCAgov.net.
Bam.
Red flag right there. There is not a single government agency that's going to end in .net. And rather, after some investigations, this was a domain placed and purchased on Squarespace. I reached out to the company Squarespace. They did not respond, even after, you know, trying to explain to them the situation. I guess, you know, they probably didn't see the email, etc. And after contacting, or after discussing this together, we found that the domain also had the personal information protected. Everything led to, what's the phrase that we put in the FBI letter, email?
Oh, crap. I don't remember. The hallmarks of fraudulent activity.
The hallmarks of fraudulent activity. You son of a bitch, whoever the you are. So basically, this is a person who knows what they're doing, or an entity that knows what they're doing. And you guys, like in the world of money, nobody with money does their own dirty work.
Yeah.
So during a little bit more investigation, I saw a couple of stories also telling a very similar case where there were certain agencies across overseas that actually sell a service, right? Of basically taking down certain social media influencers, platforms at a certain fee. So generally speaking, the more rich that don't want to do their own dirty work in those stories are the ones that hired these agencies, and these agencies basically advertise themselves as, look at our success rate, we can easily take them down. And within a certain platform, they use their own platforms. For example, Meta has a Meta creator or copyright creator, where you as a creator can upload your content and you can protect yourself from copyright. However, when I came to do that for myself, I noticed that I wasn't able to because somebody was already doing exactly that. So they were downloading my content, uploading it as their own, and then striking my content is basically what it came down to. And when striking my content, they were giving these fraudulent emails. So this was at least what we had, or what I had came to an assumption of, or basically concluded.
Right, that was one possibility. The other possibility was like, you know, just regular everyday scammers had, I guess, figured out
Extortion.
Right, like, yeah. So,
And there were other stories saying this.
yeah, like, but it was a lot of digging and searching. Honestly, he actually took the lead on it because I had work to do. And in a way, you didn't have a choice because it was like your livelihood, you know.
And even if money wasn't involved, this is my life. Like I love this.
Sure. And so he would just send me like different things that it could have been. And so we're operating like truly like in the dark here. Like, okay, what could it be?
Yeah,
could it be this? Could it be that? It was just, you know, a lot of guessing, a lot of process of elimination of dead ends, or like.
I even waited for an email to say ransom, because that's another story that they were doing out there was like, this, you have to pay us this amount or we'll keep doing it. So I had to put my profile in private for like 2 months. It severely destroyed my reach for 2 whole months. I mean, I watched some of my peers grow and I wish them nothing but success, but you know, as a human being, it still hurt. Like to know that like I was sitting on the sidelines and it seemed like everybody was pointing the finger at me, like you changed, because everybody else is still going, and I saw all that. And it bothered me too. But I didn't wish the same bad on anybody else. And I didn't want to come out there and put that out in the world. Like, I'm dealing with it, let me just through it. And so yeah, that was really hard. So and after, sorry,
also it was a little difficult. What I found surprising was that there wasn't a lot of content creators talking about it. So I was like, all right, is it just happening to him? I'm like, it can't.
Clones?
Just fragrance folks talking about it.
About what exactly?
About their content being taken down like this.
Oh yeah.
You know, so I'm like, all right, is it?
Well, there was one big creator. I don't want to put any names because I don't want to create any culture, and I don't have any feelings against this person. But there was one content creator that posted, their post got taken down by LVMH, and then I shortly after that posted something when I was going through it, and they all assumed that, oh my God, he's afraid because of what he watched on this other content creators. He's just being a bitch, basically.
So I don't know. I didn't know about this story. Like, I'm just hearing this one.
Yeah, remember when I went live, I did the clones, and people were talking about, oh, you're just mad because LVMH took this
Oh, yeah.
Like,
okay.
What?
All right. Yeah,
like, it got to the point where they took,
Yeah, but like, there wasn't a content creator talking about like, hey, they're taking me down. Hey, it's like these people, or at least as far as I've said, hey, I didn't do anything like illegal, and they're like, platforms are taking me down.
Because you speak against the platform, you're just gonna lose.
I mean, I don't know what it was. You know, maybe, who knows? Maybe they had lawyers telling them like, don't talk about it, or they were figuring this out. But I mean, you were behind the back scenes. You were texting people, and they couldn't advise you really.
Right, but as you stated earlier, would the smarter thing have been to speak out?
I mean, even if they're not speaking out, they can at least tell you as like a friend, you know, like.
Oh yeah, but unfortunately, learning throughout the space and after many trials of having friendships in this space, it really didn't happen.
We just kept walking,
so I was alone, honestly.
Yeah, we just kept walking in the dark, and like, I mean, I give a lot of credit to you for kind of
thank you.
Holding it together.
Bro, if it wasn't, amazing help and relationship with you, honestly. A dear friend for many years. What followed after all of this and all these takedowns? After I went private, it seemed to kind of shut the issue down. It did protect. So guys, if you're going through it, I would recommend putting your Insta, whatever the hell it is, private. It'll definitely dampen things out. There are people with like 400,000 subs. There are even brands that have been taken down to this day. To this day, we're talking 3 months later, a brand page just got taken down yesterday. And they don't use any comparisons or inspire, none of that. They just got taken down yesterday by the same way and from the same email, that DMCA, and they're always getting smarter. They're always changing it. It's not always going to say DMCA. It sometimes says legal support at gov.whatever.net. It's absolutely
One time
crazy.
it had a law firm.
Yeah.
An IP law firm.
Fraud all over the place.
Yeah.
And
they're
so
impersonating people.
Exactly. And so what I did, which is what the FBI recommends, is I reported it to exactly that. The FBI, I gave an in-depth, detailed of hallmarks, fraudulent activity, and sent that email over to the FBI, and I'm waiting to hear back soon.
It took me an hour to write it, just
Yeah.
to make sure that we had like everything down, gave them what they needed.
After that, I also learned about what general liability versus professional liability versus copyright protection and insurance, and I got insured. So out of all of this, just like everything else in my life, I always look for the positives, like whether it be like an accident or damn near death, I've been expelled, gangs, all this stuff. The one thing that I always took away from or just came out is what did I learn and the positive. Like, bro, life is way too short. Like COVID only solidified it, my experience in the field. During that, people passing on their birthdays, holding hands and families. And every single time I told myself, even as weird as it sounds, even during death, I look for the bright side. What did I learn? What can I take away? And I guess the only time where I can't learn or take away is my own, I suppose, right?
Well, I mean, like,
but I'll take away my debt, I guess.
I mean, going back to it, you know, we were walking in the dark. First, we emailed the copyright office, like, hey, somebody's...
Yeah, forgot about that.
Yeah, somebody is impersonating you. And I actually thought that they would do something, but they were like, no. So then
They said they don't even issue takedowns.
Or, yeah, somebody else, like you, the copyright holder, has to issue, like, go get a lawyer and then, like, fill out the form and then go issue the office themselves don't do it.
They did say, however, that there are only certain entities that can issue those, and they are findable in their database. So they said, go to our database, look up fragrance, and see who has the rights to issue those.
Right, and that's when we found Fragrantica.
Listen, it's still in the air.
No. We really don't think it's them, okay?
But the only person in the fragrance space that actually has they actually have the power to issue takedowns is
allegedly Fragrantica.
Allegedly.
You know, if we believe what
the database
the
is
copyright,
the facts.
right?
If we can look at it, anybody can look at
what the copyright office told us.
Yeah.
Some person there told
doesn't
us.
necessarily mean that they did it. No,
we don't believe.
No,
that they
no,
did
no,
it.
no.
But for a split second, I was like, hey, that's the number one way to become the only
Bro,
reviewer in the world.
Conspiracy theories for 2.5 months. If you guys, if only I could have let you guys in, but I couldn't, man. Just like detective, and I mean, I've never been anything other than an open book, at least for me and knowing me, and that's why, like, during all of this, it really hurt seeing those comments. But anyways, after all of this,
we emailed the FBI. FBI doesn't do anything, and at this point,
for now,
I'm like, hey, you actually need to, like, lawyer up, and I'm like, you need to get somebody who specializes in this thing. You know, he started making his own call. I had some connections in the IP world here in Michigan, and eventually I was able to lead him to a law firm, and you know, they kind of like hit it off, and that really began like the rehab process. Like that began, you know, if he hit a low, it's at around this time that like things started picking back up.
The wound, we just started tending to the massive wound,
right?
Because we were avoiding the cost tremendously.
Yeah,
I mean, even the cost that it would have cost me for an actual, like, a lawyer that wasn't a friend, bro, I would have ended up.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been expensive. It would have been expensive because, you know, I don't specialize in it, but at least I knew that I'm like, hey, you have to begin investigating this and trying to figure out what it is, because if you pay a lawyer to do the investigative work, it's gonna cost you about like 5 to 10.
I spend hours.
So I'm like, you need to like get in there and do this, and I'm like, I'll try to at least help as much as possible in what leads are good and what leads are bad. And once we started like cutting down, okay, it's not this, it's not this, it's not this. That's when we at least narrowed it down, where we were like, okay, now it makes sense to make a lawyer, because
there was no reason.
Yeah, like,
that's it. It was like we were stuck at a wall.
Yeah, and you know, if these social media platforms would have responded to you and actually like looked at what you were saying, that would have been
it would have been done.
It would have been done.
It would have been done.
You know, they probably get a bunch of people, regular folks, every day.
Such a hole in the system, and the medias, the social medias, and even the legal system. The fact that this was like, how?
So I'm like, you need to get a lawyer, because at the very least, they'll send a letter out, you know, with their letterhead, and that will get their attention. At best, they'll already have relationships at the social media companies, and then they can kind of like work this through.
And you're talking weeks. So if my platform had been taken down, I'd have been waiting weeks even through that.
Right, and that was our other problem. It's like while we're investigating this thing, while we're trying to get a hold of lawyers, while we're, anticipating them sending letters and social media companies getting back to them, we're like, you've
Everything
already been
I've
struck
ever
down.
worked on and the hundreds of thousands I've spent is like in jeopardy of being lost. It's not even about like, it's just all the work I put in.
Right, because in one platform, you already had 6 strikes. We don't know how many it takes to take your account down.
They already took one down that was growing rapidly.
Right. And so what if, while we're figuring this out, they give you 2 more strikes or 4 more strikes and now you're out. Now, not only do you need a lawyer, but now you're like losing an income to be able to pay for them. So it was like a very stressful time for you,
A lot of these, you guys, I'm in debt for. Like, a lot of these I finance. F it. Because as a content creator, this is the commitment that I've made. I will go in debt for it. It's okay. My earnings will cover it. It'll cover this. But at this point, it's a certain reality. Like, it is what it is.
And like now, when we're able to look back on it, we're able to be like, okay, it is okay. But then in the moment, it was stressful and we didn't know how it was going to play out.
It was cancerous.
Yeah,
that level of stress was, I would call cancerous, man.
I'm very careful to not tell my clients that, hey, you should fight it.
Oh, okay.
No, I mean, like, sometimes, like, they really are.
Yeah.
But I'm always very careful to not tell them, like, hey, yeah, you should go fight this. Because, it's not my money that's being spent. I don't have the same skin in the game. It's their money. So I'm always careful about it. And I remember I did that with you, like, 3 or 4 times. Like, hey, no, like, we don't know if we're going to fight it yet. We don't know how it's going to play out. But I think at a certain point, things got bad enough. I remember waking up one day and, like, lacing up my shoes. And I was just like, I texted you, like, man, you have to fight it. You have no choice. They like, put your back against the wall.
Blanket over my mouth and
they're just trying
suffocating
to
me.
Slowly trying to like suffocate you.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you don't fight back now, they're just gonna end it. But if you fight back, maybe they'll go to someone else that doesn't have a lawyer.
That's
you know what I mean?
Unfortunate reality.
Yeah.
And the thing is that I never changed through any of this. I just had to mold in order to survive and basically take a seat on the bench. Just like some of the greatest players, they don't play in every single game. And I mean, yeah, I might be one of the best players in the game. I say that very humbly. But, like I'm not gonna, ultimately I knew that it was a game of whose pockets are deeper, and it was something where there was a lot of fraud, and kind of just left me in like the mercy of like, praying and also having lawyers and trust and belief in the legal system. And so basically, even with this blanket over my mouth, I was still doing content. I was still recording. There are so many videos I had to re-record, so many videos I had to lose and delete, and so much money I could have not spent.
So many texts to me like, can I say this word? Can I say that word?
God,
can I take this out?
It was OCD.
How does this look? What do you think about today? Yeah, it was just the unknown.
And honestly, a lot of the reason why I was molded is because the sincere concern I had with legality. Like, I don't want to break the fucking law.
True.
Like, it's not even about like giving you guys a clone. I'll always do it. I never plan on changing, never planned on changing. A good fragrance is a good fragrance. I don't give a shit what its genre is. If it smells good, it performs, that's what we're gonna be talking about objectively. But what it's also taught me is that being nasty, shitting on fragrances, a lot of people think that it's something that you should do. Like with every review should be the pros and the cons. Yes, I agree. However, when you shit on fragrances, you're placing yourself in a very bad situation in a couple of ways. Number one, you place yourself as a target to a lot of these entities that will easily eat you alive. Number one. Number two, you're also insulting a lot of your viewers, which I have personally done myself and regretted after seeing the comment section of somebody saying, I actually really like that fragrance. Right. And number three, you're also creating this negative culture, right? And so for the most part, I learned that when I'm reviewing a fragrance and I don't enjoy certain aspects, I say it as it is, but I never, and I always make it a thing not to disrespect and not to place myself as a target without compromising my honest to God truth. If I don't like something, I say I don't like it and it's not for me and it could last longer.
To not do anything illegal. That was a big thing we were
Because if I say this is ass, right? This is ass, it doesn't last, blah, blah, blah. It's not about, like, I mean, that's freedom of speech, right? You would think. But their pockets are deeper, and even if they know they're not going to win the case, they'll take your ass to court. Right. And they'll make you spend that $30,000 to $80,000 to $100,000 knowing they'll lose. But guess what? They taught your ass a lesson, right? So rather...
The threat of litigation is sometimes more powerful than litigation itself.
And they know that, and they've done that, and they do that consistently, and they always will. So rather, I say, you know what, this smells like XYZ. I don't personally like it. Is there an audience for it? And I just like end it there. Does it perform? No, it doesn't perform. It does not change the honest opinion of a fragrance at all. Sure. I'm just not disrespectful. So it seems as though like you don't have to be disrespectful to say something you don't like. Let me give you guys a few examples of fragrances I don't like. Here we go. This is Creativentus. This is a great smelling scent profile, but it doesn't last. There are a lot of other fragrances that I have that are cheaper, that last longer than this, that I would personally buy over this, okay? There's Rehan Empire, there's Club de Nuit, there's so many other fragrances. Let me give you another example. This is called Ombre Nomade. It's a great smelling fragrance, but I personally wouldn't pay $500 for it. Again, I am a reviewer, so I own it. However, I have another fragrance here that's about $45, and it smells a lot like that. It's got a lot of the rosemary, saffron. I think that this is a clone of that fragrance. It also lasts all day, and price value, I think it's a better value and a better deal. It's all legal. But that in itself, that's what I do. That's what I do. I don't have to say that whoever buys that is an idiot for 450, 540 bucks. Like, how many people have that? Maybe not many. Let me not throw my ass under the bus. But anyways, how many of you guys have events? It's probably a lot of you guys. Why do I need to do that? I told you what I needed to tell you. I told you that I wouldn't buy it again. As simple as that. And that's another lesson that I learned through this, because I used to shit on. I used to really shit on. What's your take on that? What are your thoughts?
Fragrances are just so tough, man, because different noses smell different notes. You may think something isn't all that great, but another nose, for its own reasons, they may pick up different notes, or maybe, you know, they have like an emotional attachment to it. But
right.
So it's all just so subjective too.
Drakkar Noir. If I wanted to, I would say it smells like ass. But how many of you guys have the memories of like your dad wearing that shit? I love it. My dad wore it. I would never wear it.
Sure. But also, like, I mean, I don't know. I just don't think there's really need for negativity. There's
it's not coming from
There's
me.
Especially no need to bash on your supporters. Like, oh,
you never
this
know.
is stupid.
Exactly.
It's like, oh, bro, my mom got me that. Like,
that's a gutter mentality.
Yeah.
That's a gutter mentality. That's a gutter mentality. So you'll never get that out of me. You'll get honesty. Always, always. And if you guys ask me, I'll tell you. And more often than not, I have a series, 2 series actually. New releases is more than likely when I tell you I don't like something because it's a new release. I don't dig back 5 years fragrances I don't like. Sometimes I'll make a list. Also another series is fragrances I wouldn't buy again, plus alternatives, and also my weekly rotation fragrance video. I usually call it Gems of the Week or something like that. And you'll actually see the fragrances I wore that week. And it's every day, it's a new fragrance or 2. And in those, I usually say like, you know, I wore Lin Sumi this week and I really didn't like this. Smells musky, old manny. I wasn't digging it. Barbershoppy. It's not a bad fragrance, but it wasn't for me. Smell this and tell me what you think. Do you like this?
it is actually old manny barbershoppy.
Thank you. There are some people that love that fragrance. Why am I gonna say it smells like ass?
Yeah.
So yeah, Lin Sumi smells like ass.
There's some Middle Eastern fragrances I don't like that are like too strong, but you love them.
I love them. Exactly, exactly.
Saffron as a note, couldn't care for it.
Yeah. So anyways, I think we drove the point home with that one, and that's not going to change me. I'll never change. I'll never change in that regards, and in the regards of my content and honesty and clones and niche and do all of that stuff, man. Right. And ultimately, this is leading us to the topic of what we learned out of all this, or what I learned, and also we all learned something out of this. So ultimately, I feel like I'm pretty blessed to have gone through all of that. Before we wrap things up, is there anything else that maybe I might have forgot that you could have remembered? Because it was a pretty traumatic time for me. I will never forget what I went through. Honest to God, because it was every day from the moment I woke up, anxiety, to the moment I slept, not knowing if I'm gonna get another email. And there is actually one last point into some of the light at the end of the tunnel that I'll share with before I wrap it up actually, but I want to give you the opportunity.
I think to just add something on a positive note, you know, as we were trying to figure out what was going on, we ran into people that actually just genuinely took the time to help us out. Like just genuinely good people that took the time. Person at the IP office that, you know, you told her like, hey, you know, I'm fighting for my livelihood here. They keep taking me down. I mean,
although I'm still licensed and, you know, part-time practicing and all this stuff, like, you know, it does take some time to make all this content. I'm posting every fucking day, 3 shorts, a full-length video. I'm recording, I'm live.
And then that person really kind of helped out a little bit. There were just
shout-outs to you.
Yes, there were just a lot of people that, you know, they nobody could ever give us the full answer or like the way forward.
They couldn't, yeah.
But at least they kind of helped with a step, and they didn't do it for anything other than just to help out another fellow human being, which was, you know, just one of those heartwarming moments, I suppose, out of all of it.
Yeah, it was much deeper than just a YouTuber making fragrance content, honestly. Right. I'm a human, like, we're touchable, you know?
Yeah,
like,
you reached out to some lawyers who, you know, heard you out, and then they genuinely tried to look things up for you at no charge on the first one.
Yeah, they were awesome for that. So, lastly is basically I made some connections, very, very fortunate enough to have made some connections that have some pull, unfortunately, that I would have never been able to have on my own. I managed to get my one of my accounts back from the Chinese brand, and thank God it's back. However, I lost so much time, about 4.5 months worth of you know, growth, success, content, development. I'm always looking to improve my content always, to this day, if you watch my shorts, they're always getting better. They're always, what's more interesting? What's most interesting? And that was 4.5 months of me just sitting on the sideline, watching my growth significantly drop. I mean, it dropped by about 70% across the boards. And it is what it is. Ultimately, I'm blessed and honored to have made those connections that got me that account back. I paid a pretty penny, but ultimately I did make those connections that helped me get those removed off of both platforms, fortunately. YouTube, shout outs to YouTube, man. You guys are real ones, man. You guys keep your stuff tight. And aside from that, I do plan on bringing Clone Wars back to this channel legally, but there were a lot of minor details that I didn't realize could be breaking the law in that regards. Now you guys will see a disclaimer at the beginning of the video, in the bottom of the description, certain terminologies that are very minor. Most people won't even realize it, that I wouldn't have learned without this.
Right. Or lawyers, we can kind of spot each other's fingerprints on something based on like language, based on why it's there, where it's there and stuff. So, you know, when that disclaimer first came around, like that was my idea. Like, let's put that there. So in case because we thought maybe we were doing something illegal, like let's put that there. So in case somebody wants to sue you, here's your contact information. Just talk to us. We don't need, you know, to go
do all this BS.
Right. Like we don't need all of this. So that's why that got put there. And then like it got tinkered with here or there, you know, sizing. Just, I mean, there's just a lot that goes in it. We now have legal advice from, you know, people that specialize in this kind of thing. So we know. The only thing about it is that if
more specialized legal advice, not legal advice.
That's true. Yeah. But the issue with that is that first, you know, people that engage in fraud, they don't operate within the legal system. So it's not like we're gonna go there and we're gonna be like, hey, this is legal. Like, they don't give a shit about that.
What kills me is how they told you to appeal. They tell you to appeal, but your appeal goes to the same person who's breaking the law. Yeah. Appeal and see if they take it back.
So, and then the other thing is that, you know, the law affords you broad protections. Yes, you know, you're operating within these social media companies, and they have much stricter policies. Rules, so you know, we're legally doing everything right, but they're just gonna be like, okay, yeah, that's fine, but we don't allow that within our rules. So too bad. So, but you know, we're just still in many ways trying to like navigate it. Like
we're ready, we're prepared at least. I have an arsenal. I learned a lot. Disclaimered up. I've got legal stuff all ready to go. I got insured up. All those minor details I wouldn't have known. So I mean, so much that I would have never imagined on my first video, taking my phone, literally propping it up and talking all about the stronger with yous that I had. And that was my first video. I would have never imagined. Like, really, this is what talking about fragrance? Like, it's crazy.
There's a lot of stuff that goes on in the back scenes in people's lives. Like, we don't know what somebody is going through.
You really never know.
Yeah.
You never know. And just because, you know,
you think you do, but
yeah. Human nature is, I usually feel like, quick to jump to negative. I don't know.
Or judgment.
Or judgment, judgment. I mean, I can kind of understand that. And it is what it is. Hopefully my story, the intention of the story was just to share my story. I just felt like this was something that I should share. It was significant, a huge part of my life.
Because when we were looking to figure things out, there was no one out there really talking about it.
Yeah.
So hopefully, you know, the next content creator that gets some of these things happen to them.
It's going to cost.
It is unfortunately going to cost, but you know, that's just the world we
cost
live
of
in.
Whether or not you want to be in it. And I understand why a lot of creators stop.
Right.
You know, either they stop the space because of stuff like this, or they just stop before from either the hate comments. Who cares about the hate comments? It is what it is. That's part of the success, baby. But no, all bullshit aside, there's a lot. There's a lot that tears you down as you try and come up. So.
As we were going through it, I remember thinking like, there's got to be a lot of content creators that aren't fighting back. You
know, there is, and they just start over, or they just they think that they're doing something wrong. They're just ignorance.
Like, they don't have like a friend that's a lawyer. They can just text like, hey, what's going on with this, you know, and then get like 2 cents about at least an idea.
These platforms don't tell you what you're doing wrong.
Right. Maybe they don't have, you know, the income to be able to do it, to fight back. Maybe they don't have the personality to kind of like fight back, or the encouragement, the system. Like you did a lot of, like you took on the costs.
I wasn't going to go down.
Like you.
It was all or nothing. It was all or nothing. And if it costed those hundreds, then that's what it would have been.
But you also had encouragement, and some content creators might not.
That's another reason why we're putting this out there is for all of you other content creators. There's a lot of fraud happening. All of you who might have been taken down, I'm really sorry if it got taken down. I know what it feels like. It fucking hurts.
It does.
It's very anxiety inducing, and then like on top of that, you see a lot of the hate comments. You still do. I had a lot of supporters too, and I love you guys for that.
No, there were still some people out there that were supporting you. I mean, I started just reading your comments every day.
But I felt blanketed, I felt muzzled, and I don't blame people for starting to fall off because the content was like censored. It was censored. But we're back. We're better than ever.
Yep.
And that was story time. Do you think there's anything else that we might have missed or can add?
No, I don't think so. I mean, aside from
But you're
if you
not.
ever need an attorney, even if it's not something I specialize in, I can give you an opinion. But better yet, I can refer you to somebody out there, and then they can kind of help you out, or at least try to help you out, because that's what a lot of this comes down to is, you know, how do you navigate these things? How can you?
It's people
be made
versus
whole.
corpse. It ends up being people because at the end of the day, like as a content creator, I'm a person, man. Like I don't consider myself like I'm just reviewing them and saying what I like. I'm not trying to influence people to buy things that'll make the most money. I don't care about that shit. But if it's good, I'll tell you it's good. It's always been the thing. Like it'll never change.
You can find me on LinkedIn. You can, if you Google me, you can find me there and, you know, get all of that. You can also add me on my Instagram, and I'll give him both
We'll put
links.
all those down in the description as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you're going through this, hopefully, you know, you can reach out to one of us and we'll do what we can to help you. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This is my story and what I went through as a YouTube content creator versus social media platforms and corporations and even government fraud. In my experience with lawyers, I'm now lawyered up. I've got insurance, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
The cost of business.
The cost of talking with a platform. I just talked, bro.
I feel you. You just talked about
Leave
things
me
you were smelling.
alone, bro.
Yeah. Anyways, have a great one.
All right, have a wonderful day. Make sure to leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and share this video. For those of you who are trying to see a different way of thinking in general, and positivity, and for those of you who know a content creator that might be going through something. And until the next video, peace.